what can we tell you about tonight's episode? Well, if you were here for the 2 session zeros we talked about the fact that this is going to be New York City. We start tonight on a Saturday, late Saturday evening, around probably about 9 p.m. It is the 31st of December, 1921. New Year's Eve, in fact. So as you can imagine, in New York City on New Year's Eve, there is a whole bunch of swells out on the streets, all having a awesomely frivolous and over-the-top exorbitant time. It is, of course, prohibition. Alcohol is outlawed. It's illegal. New York City is a hive of immigration. It's a melting pot. So there are all kinds of fun people here. Our 4 investigators all have reasons that they will reveal, if or not reveal, to why they have come to the bookstore. The bookstore is, to every normal person walking by the bookstore on the edge of Broadway, is exactly that. It's a single-story bookstore that sells old, antiquated books, a lot of second-hand books and stuff like that. It's really nothing to shout home about at all, except for those people in the know, for those people with connections. They know that operating below the bookstore is another bookstore. The bookstore Speakeasy, which is run basically on the front of it by a barman who everyone knows as Louis. Louis Lalomus, in fact. But it's unlikely that Louis runs such an establishment alone. All kinds of speculation escalates in the fact that they believe that Albert Terranova, who is a well-known and very well-connected New York gangster, is somehow connected with the running and operation. At the very least, people know that he is probably the person supplying the liquor and the alcohol to this establishment. As we join our investigators tonight, they will be arriving at the Speakeasy. Things that are happening that they know about, other than the fact that it's going to be a huge New Year's blast of a party. A famous lounge singer by the name of Doris Fontaine will be performing. She's very well known around New York City. She hasn't got her big break yet. She isn't a recording artist by any means. She hasn't broken into the music scene beyond that of stage. But she's had several parts in some smaller Broadway productions. And she's definitely on her way up. And for people that can't afford the highest class places, the top tier entertainment, she's kind of as good as it really gets. And she's going to be performing at some point here in the bookstore. So we're going to join our investigators as they arrive at this establishment. Basically, they have gone up to the door. They have done the secret little knock. They've seen the light turn on and off 3 times in the back. Once that's happened, they've gone round to the side door, which has been opened, and they've been led down to the basement, and they've gone down a flight of stairs into the Speakeasy itself. So let's go ahead and pull the shutters back so everybody can see our little Speakeasy, which is right here. And I'm going to go ahead and kick things off. Let's see. We want some atmosphere. We want some Speakeasy sound. So let's crank that up. We'll get rid of the 1920 sound. There we go. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and move our heroes into play. Okay. And there we go. All right, let's get you guys on this map. Okie dokie. So I'm gonna kind of bring you all in one at a time, but fairly rapid pace. So I'm not gonna leave it too long. So you're gonna have a few minutes to decide what you want to do as you enter, and then I'm gonna flee on to the next person. We're gonna do this in no uncertain order. So all of you give me a percentage dice roll. Roll a d100, and we're gonna go in ascending or descending order. Whoever rolls the highest is coming in first. All right, Mina. Okay, so a very large, brutish individual has escorted you to the top of the stairs. Once you have gone through the door, he closes it behind you. Standing at the top on a small wooden landing with a flight of stairs leading down is the bookstore Speakeasy. Now, this is the sort of place that you never come. You don't like this stuff. There's entirely too many people here. There's entirely too much atmosphere. Glancing around the room, it's a very nice, well-lit, yet dingy place because you're in a basement. There's no lights, but there's plenty of lamps. There are rows of tables with kind of red velvet tablecloths, most of which seem to be full of people. Some of them have spaces. At the front, near the main stage, are two larger tables with white fancy tablecloths and blue chairs. From here, glancing over, you can see one of those tables is occupied, and it is clearly occupied by very well-dressed, two very well-dressed individuals, two men, and two very well-dressed ladies as well. Then there's the regular crowd that's kind of huddled around the bar. What do you want to do? So you're standing at the top of the stairs, kind of like looking down at all of this paraphernalia.
So I'm going to just kind of glance around. Immediately, I'm scanning to try to find my only acquaintance, Adara, who told me to come here.
Alright, seeing as it is very busy, it's very packed, you can start off the first of our dice rolls this evening.
Oh, yay.
Let me go ahead and pull up my blank sheet real quick so that I've got a one here that I can hurl at you guys for... Alright, so you're going to give me a spot hidden check, but because you are currently elevated, I'm going to give you a plus 20 on that roll.
Oh, yeah.
So whatever your spot hidden is, we're going to add 20 to that. Alright, 55. That gives you one success. Okay, so this is how Call of Cthulhu works. You get to put a little check mark in the box next to your spot hidden skill. Which means at the end of the adventure, you will have a chance to improve that skill. So that's basically how it works. Successfully use a skill, and you get a chance to improve that skill at the start of the at the end of the adventure.
Even though I don't think that skill can be improved.
Hey, you've got eagle eyes, so hey, we'll see. We'll see. You can get 1 point if you roll a 0-0. All right. So glancing around frantically over here, standing right here at the bar, you notice your friend. Her name is Adara Abelman. She is a Jewish fellow co-worker at your little library for NYU. She was the one that invited you here, convinced you here, coerced you into coming. So you're incredibly relieved to see that she actually did show up before you.
Seeing her, I'm going to sort of get kind of excited and kind of wave in noticing that she probably doesn't notice me. I'm going to be all awkward about it.
All right. Okay, she's a bit of a flirt, and she's actually flirting with this older gentleman that is standing next to her, and clearly she has already managed to convince him to purchase her several drinks. Do you have control of your character?
Yes.
Okay.
What?
Then go ahead and move her where you want.
So I'm going to start down the stairs, almost trip and fall down them, grab onto the banister, check around to make sure nobody saw that. Of course, nobody pays any attention to me anyway, so... gonna slowly make my way over there to her.
Okay. All right. All right, you push your way through the people and finally get there. As you get there, she's kind of batting eyelids and she's got one hand all kind of propped up on her chin as she's looking at this dude. He is probably 60 years old. He's bald. He has a monocle. He kind of looks like the Monopoly guy with his big mustache. But clearly she's interested in something other than his looks. As soon as you arrive, she's like, Oh, Mina, my darling, you made it! Oh, I'm so glad to see you out.
Yeah, it's a little busy here.
Oh, don't worry about all that. We're just us girls here. We're going to keep ourselves to ourselves. It's going to be so much fun this evening.
Okay, don't leave me, though.
Oh, I wouldn't dream of it. Let's get you a drink.
Oh.
Do you drink? Oh, of course you must. We need you to try. If you don't know what you want, I suggest you have a Shirley Temple. They're delicious.
I guess.
Two more Shirley Temples, please. One for me and one for my friend. Let me see if I still have enough money. Oh, don't worry about it, my dear. I'll more than happily take care of it. Would you like to introduce me to your friend? Oh, yes. So what was... Oh, that's right. This is Chauncey. He's my new friend. This is a very good friend of mine, a dear friend. Her name is Mina.
It's nice to meet you.
Oh, pleasure to meet you, my dear. Very, very, very nice to see you. So, you come here often, do you? I myself recently just came in on one of the beautiful Starliners and came across the pond, don't you know? I'm interested in starting up some business ventures here in the United States.
Oh, that's
The barman comes over and puts down 2 cocktails in front of you.
I'm gonna just kind of take it like as an excuse not to have to talk.
He's kind of at you, look at him, and he just looks at you and he looks at this guy. He's got a bit of a smirk on his face and he goes back to polishing the glass that he was busy polishing right before you walked in. Clearly that glass probably has been polished beyond... He's probably taken layers of glass off this thing. It's like a nervous twitch. Like when he's got nothing else to do, he picks up the same glass and begins to polish it. About the same time as you have received your drinks, the door opens once again, and at the top of the stairs, we see a very well-dressed individual. Why don't you go ahead and give us a description of yourself, Mr. Buford?
Yes, so Buford is, what did I say in the beginning? I kind of just off the top. I think he's about 5'8", very normal stature. 5'8", about 165 pounds. Just kind of a normal guy. He's 40 years old. But he does everything he can to try to hide his age as best as possible, like wearing a nice suit, having his hair immaculately done all the time.
This is a role-playing game, right? Not let me be
myself.
Oh, yeah.
No. Again, don't forget, I put myself in characters all the time.
Well, I noticed you said he was 5'8".
Difference.
With tall hair, with immaculate hair. So you're 5'8", right? But you've got 6 inches of hair. So
you guys think I'm apparently like 4 feet tall, so hey, whatever. And he kind of walks in and looks around the room and kind of waves the smoke away from his face so you can get a better view as he's trying to locate somebody he's meeting there.
Okay. Who are you specifically looking for?
I'm looking for. I have a meet. I believe I'm in the right place with a possible client of mine, whose name is... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, the client in question, you're actually supposed to meet on the 2nd.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. I apologize.
That doesn't mean he may not come here.
What? Yes, I'm in
town.
Thank
you for the subscription. New subscriber hype. Welcome to the family. Take your pants off, hit the hype. Thank you for that sub, dude.
So yes, I apologize. So I'm in town meeting someone in a few days. Right now, I'm just looking to kind of be somewhere on New Year's Eve because that's just sort of the thing to do.
Right. Are you married at all? Are you single?
Nope, it's very single.
Okay. Very single.
Very single.
Is there a story to you being very single, or are you just a perpetual bachelor?
Probably. I mean,
There probably is, but you don't want to reveal it yet. I've got you.
That's right.
Okay.
That's
We'll
exactly
find
right.
out
Don't
later
get too
all
much
about
of
your
it.
sordid past, if there is one.
we wanna keep him coming back for more, Gore. You know.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. You've got the description of the room. Glancing around, there's a few. I think there's a stool at the bar.
Yeah.
Buck Sissy, thank you for subscribing. Also, new subscriber hype. Good to see you, dude. Take your pants off, hit the hype. Welcome to the family.
All right, I'm just gonna kind of take a look around.
So as I said, there's about one stool left at the bar, next to this couple of old dudes actually. And no, there isn't. So some young woman just went and sat there. Damn it.
Okay, it looks like there's a empty table sort of near the stage.
Yes, there is. There is a very large. Have you been here before?
No, I have not.
Okay, all right. So you haven't been here before. That's fine. Yeah. So there's a larger, prominent table with nicer chairs, right there, prime and front center stage. Indeed. All the other tables seem to have people sitting at them. Several empty chairs. There's one other empty table, which is here, but that's clearly not in such a good position. It's all the way at the back for a start.
Yeah, no. So if there's an empty table up there, I'm just gonna walk on over to it and have a seat.
Okay.
That's part of the game. You know, you just have to pretty much fake it till you make it. So I'm just gonna confidently walk over to the table and have a seat.
Alrighty. Okay. Work your way through.
Yep.
Not a problem. Okay. So you go ahead and sit down. Almost as soon as you have done so, a well-dressed gentleman in a black suit approaches you and kind of looks at you with a raised eyebrow. Did you have a reservation tonight?
I do believe so. Yes.
Oh, what was the name?
Oh, maybe you could just be a sport and tell me what are the names you got on there. So it's maybe not be under my name exactly. It might be with the group that I'm with. And if you tell me what name it is, I could probably tell you if I'm in the right place or not.
All right, he pulls a small notebook out from his top pocket. Let's see there.
Yeah, make sure you take a good look now.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of names down here. What? Can you give me the names of some of your party members?
Well, again, I may have had one too many drinks already, as it seems to have slipped my mind. Which is why I'm saying maybe you could sort of assist me in remembering.
Well, don't seem to have much of a incentive to do so at the moment, sir. You are occupying one of the two reserved tables. If you don't have anybody that you're meeting here, and if you don't have a reservation, I will have to ask you to vacate.
Well, it's I can understand you're just doing your job, but let me tell you this: if they come and they ask me to leave, I will do so. But I do believe I am in the right place.
Oh, I'm sure you're in the right place, sir. The question is, are you at the right table?
I believe. How about this? How about I can order a drink from you, and by the time we bring it over, if they've shown up and asked me to leave, I will do so without a problem. That way, you can get a tip. Bartender could make a little extra money, and we all win.
You said something about a tip.
Absolutely.
Yes, this is a language I understand all too well.
I figure we could come to some understanding.
So, once again, your name was Mr. Mr.
You could call me Blue. That's what my
Mr.
friends call me, and
Blue.
I do believe now we are more than just acquaintances. We are friends.
Yes, but I don't believe we're speaking the same language, are we? Okay, never mind. I'll go and fetch you a drink. What would you like?
Well, I do hope that your bartender can make a good mint julep if possible.
Mint julep. Oh, I'm sure he can. So, as we discussed, you can stay until you've had your drink, unless your party should show up. Other than that, I'm going to have to ask you to vacate to one of the other tables, I'm afraid.
So I can't roll to fast talk this guy or anything?
You can, but...
that's what I'm trying to do.
So, you can go ahead and give me that fast talk roll,
Okay.
but... based on what this table is, who should be sitting here, and who this guy is that you're dealing with, you're going to need at least 3 successes to pull this off.
Okay, I don't know what that means, so we're going to roll.
When you roll it, basically for every 10 less than your skill, that counts as a success. So you've got to succeed pretty well to actually pull one over on this guy.
Gotcha. Okay, here we go.
You got this, Buford.
Do I roll 3 times?
No, you only roll the once.
Just once. Oh, okay.
Okay, let's see. 37. I wonder if this macro is actually working right. So 37, because that should be more than 1 success.
If it's every 10, it should be 3 successes, correct?
Let's see. 70, so 60 would be 1, 50, 40, yeah. So that is 3 successes. That is enough.
All right.
Okay, you could have possibly helped yourself with a bribe, but that's okay. You pulled it off without spending any money.
Yeah, that's what I was going for the tip, but okay.
Okay, so he has made his way. He's heading over to the bar, kind of stops and glances at you with a and then continues in that direction. About this time, the door opens once again, and an unlikely soul is at the top of the stairs. Several people will automatically... Every time the door opens, this is what normal people are doing. They're like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. In this case, it's more like, and then there's whispering. So why don't you describe the individual at the top of the stairs for us, Shagget?
All right. Mordred Dowd is a large, unhealthy-looking man in less than impeccable attire. All black, dirty, askew, kind of unkempt appearance. He has stringy black hair combed up underneath a top hat, so it's like poking out the sides. He looks like he has some sort, not like a full-on disease, but his skin definitely doesn't look healthy, like healthy skin. It's kind of modeled, like a little, and he does not have his shovel. He put it in his hearse before he came in here, because that would just be weird.
Yeah, the token has a shovel because it's basically the only weapon he uses, but clearly he's not walking into a speakeasy.
With a shovel, like wielding a shovel. I come to bury people.
Yeah, you wouldn't have got through the door with that thing, so...
Mordred, I look around the room, don't see anyone of interest, lumber down the stairs, kind of like 2 at a time, noisily,
boom, boom,
not gracefully, although he is more dexterous than he lets appear, and not like Spook's character, who's like kind of fumbling. And I immediately, so Spook, is your character like half on the seat, half off the seat?
Yeah, she's trying to stay as close to her friend as possible.
So you've got like one cheek on the seat, but you're kind of leaning over and holding onto your friend. Got it?
Okay.
Yes,
well,
I am bi-cheeked over here.
You're bi-cheeked? So I'm going to walk over and, without saying excuse me, kind of just like lean over this empty portion to get the bartender's attention.
Okay.
And I'm going to be like, I'll have a Grey Goose, please. Vodka. And then I'm going to move back to this corner, light up a cigarette, flip open a gold pocket watch I have, and kind of like admire its inlay and its engraving while I wait for my drink.
Okay. Right, he goes and pours you a large measure of vodka and brings it over to you.
I put down the right money for it.
Okay, yep, he's just chewing on a, basically as he comes over, I don't have one, that'll have to do.
Cray Packle, yeah. I was going to say something else, but that's not it.
But he's chewing on a toothpick, he comes over and goes, that'll be 50 cents.
So I put down 75. Keep them coming, please.
Thank you. Not at all, not at all. You want me to pull the bottle for you?
I wasn't trying to ping myself, but I am moving over, trying to get further away from the man that just came in.
Okay, so your friend, feeling the pressure, is going to kind of like Neither one of you are very big broads, right? You're both pretty small and petite, so she'll kind of shuffle over onto one side so that there's room for the two of you to sit on the stool.
Yeah, I'm just kind of clinging to her back.
All right, so he brings over your shot, and he goes, and I'll just put the bottle here for you. And then he just puts the bottle down here on the corner of the bar, behind himself, so that it's easy for him to go and top you up as you want.
Okay.
Okay. This gentleman sitting next to you, you notice he's kind of like turns and he's like sniffing the air, and then he's like giving you a rather kind of disgusted look. At which point he politely, you see him reach forward, he slides his glass down the bar a little bit, gets up, and with a polite he moves one step down and takes up the stool that has just been vacated.
Yeah, I don't react to it. I just let that happen.
All right. Last but not least, then, the next person coming in at the top of the stairs would be a decommissioned World War II nurse. Go ahead and
World War One.
World War One. Sorry,
Yes.
yeah, we're it's not 1942 yet. We haven't got that far. No, yeah, World War One. So 3 years ago the war ended. Since then, have you still been practicing medicine, or is that really something that you kind of threw by the wayside?
I've been still practicing it.
Okay. So why don't you give us a little bit of a description of young Yvette that just arrived at the top of the stairs?
So Yvette is pretty average in height and size. She's a little on the small side, but she's about 5'5", kind of average. She dresses in pretty standard, almost conservative, especially for this settings, style of clothing. But it's very, it's still nice quality clothing. It's not anything that's very cheap. She has brown hair, pale green eyes, and she's going to come in with the confidence, she knows she belongs in a place like this, even if she doesn't look like it.
All right.
And she has an engagement ring on as well.
Oh, interesting. All right, so yeah, you arrive at the top of the stairs. You can glance around, and I've given the description enough time, so you kind of know what the room and everything looks like.
Yes.
There is still an empty table that has not yet been claimed. There's a seat at the bar if you want it. Yeah, are you here looking for anybody in particular, or are you just...
I am. I'm going to be looking for my friend Virginia Greenwald.
Alright, I'm going to give you basically then, since as you're looking from the top of the stairs, you're looking for an individual, I'm going to do the same thing as we do with Spook. You can make a spot check, so you can go ahead and roll a spot hidden. And again, I'll give you plus 20% because of your height advantage. Oh yeah, easy. Alright, you can put a check mark against it if you need to. Okay, Virginia is right here. She was the girl that took the seat right before Buford came in.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to, I wouldn't say run, but go very quickly down the stairs towards her and then just throw my arms around her very excitedly.
So make sure you've got control of your token and move it where you wish.
Let me see if I can do this.
Remember, I know you're new to Roll20. If you hold down Alt as you while you move, you'll move precisely. So if you hold down Alt as you pick up your token and move it with the mouse, you'll move and drop it down where you want. Otherwise, it will just go square to square.
It did go there. What did I do?
You put it in your frame.
I didn't want her there.
There you go. And then you can either use the... There you go. I was about to tell you how to turn it around. Okay, so as soon as you do that...
I'm not good at this, guys.
Okay, she spins around. I prefer to have the player...
I can't do that.
I prefer to have the player tokens on top. Let me fix that.
Oh, I was trying to just move her.
No, it's okay. Hang on. We'll move you to the front. And, alrighty. I'm going to move all of the player tokens to the front just real quick, because that makes my life a lot easier. There you go. Okie dokie. All right, so yeah, so you run in there, and your old American nurse friend, Virginia Greenwalt, is more than happy to see you. She immediately throws her arms around you in response, and she's like, mwah, mwah, kisses you on both cheeks. And she's like,
I reciprocate.
yeah, she looks, oh, Yvette, darling, you made it. Oh, I'm
Jeannie,
so pleased to see you.
it's been so long.
She says, oh, it has. A little bit different than the mess halls we're used to.
Yes, certainly.
Oh, but you'll have to tell me absolutely everything. But first we need to get you a drink. Champagne, yes?
Yes.
It's excellent. She leans across and, Louis, bring us a bottle of your finest champagne. We've got some catching up to do. Miles and, you got it, Miss Virginia. Bring it over here in just a second. He fills up the vodka glass of the rough-looking individual at the corner, and then he comes back over, reaches down behind the counter, and pulls up a bottle of champagne. Pops it for you. Gives you 2 empty crystal glasses. Pours a little bit into each champagne and puts the bottle down in between the two. He goes, there you go. That'll be, $3, Miss Virginia. She goes, oh, absolutely, Louis. Here, keep the change. As she slaps down a crisp 5. Okay. Okay, you're all now in this place. So, to draw attention to the stage, it is festively lit. There's a couple of Christmas trees with lights at either corner. One of them has got a weird-looking Santa Claus sitting in front of it. It's about 3 foot high. The other one's got a weird-looking snowman sitting in front of it. It's about 3 foot high. The whole place is very much vibrant and full of life. It is by now probably about 9:30 p.m. It's been about 30 minutes since you all came in. And everybody is just laughing, joking, having a good time. Periodically, the one reason that everybody glances up at the door every time it opens is because everybody still unnervingly knows raids still happen. You could get busted at any time. HowReroll, thank you for the cheer, dude. Appreciate that, man. So, there's always this nervousness in a speakeasy because it's not uncommon for the G-man or the cops to suddenly come kicking in and bursting through the door. It has been about 4 months since the bookstore has been raided. So, you know, there's this rumor that the local New York government, the mayor, has issued a decree that they shouldn't be out doing raids tonight. Everybody just wants to everyone's out having a good time. Just keep the peace, do your jobs. Don't go rattling any cages. Don't go stirring up any unnecessary trouble. Not on New Year's Eve. That's the rumor. But the current mayor of New York City is also renowned to be a bit of an asshole. And it wouldn't put anybody, or no one would put it past him to spread that rumor deliberately to get people to lower their guard, as it were. Okay. So, as you're all doing this, you got about 30 minutes. I'm going to let this kind of go free flow for just a few mics. So, anybody in particular want to take the reins and do anything currently at this point? Let's go back to Buford. Your individual has brought your drink back over.
Yeah, if I got away with that, I'm just going to do as much as I can to kind of keep a low profile and just enjoy my drink.
He hands you the mint julep.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Optimal, thanks for the resub, dude. Much love. Take your pants off, hit the high. And, Rustfordall, thank you for the cheer again, dude. Much love. Very much appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so yeah, he glances at his watch, glances at the stairs, and says, it would appear that your party's running late, sir.
Oh, well, I do have a habit of being more on time than most people, so I'm doing just fine right here, thank you.
are you here to see Miss Fontaine perform this evening?
I believe that is who will be taking the stage.
She is not due to step on stage till 11 p.m. So I trust that your party will be here by then.
I don't see a reason why they would not, unless they ran into some sort of trouble, which by that case I could not be privy to. But if this is our table indeed, and I am here, what seems to be the problem?
Well, it's just that the establishment policy is, of course, that these tables are reserved for full parties. If your fellows don't show up, we would need to vacate a single-seated individual to allow for a more complete group. Should you, of course, find that your friends are here, you could possibly stay.
Yes. Thank you for giving me the heads up. You know, here for your trouble, I'm gonna pull out $1 and tip him.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much, sir. I very much appreciate it as he slides it up his sleeve.
I do appreciate you as well.
And it's a very busy evening. Would you perhaps like me to notify Louis that you'd like another one of these mint juleps?
Absolutely. You just keep these coming, please.
Absolutely, sir. And I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
He wanders back off. Okay, the table next to you keeps getting very loud, incidentally. They're talking and stuff. They're clearly somewhat inebriated. The conversations get, the girls are saying stuff, the guys are laughing, the girls are laughing at everything the guys say regardless. And this one bald-headed individual that's got his back to you seems to be overly rambunctious. He's dropping several F-bombs. His language is not exactly copacetic for such an establishment, but he's got a deep kind of thick New York accent. As you can't help but hear him. And he's like, yeah, Doris Fontaine, she's got a great fucking voice. Absolutely fucking amazing. Okay.
Was that Shaggy talking, or was that Gore?
Dankus Mankus, thank you for the cheer, dude. Much appreciated. Thanks, care, buddy.
Dankus.
Thank you. Take your pants off, hit the hype.
Woohoo!
There you go. All right. Yeah, so he's overly, and he's got incredible hand gestures when he's talking. It's all over he's kind of like it's almost like a Rodney Dangerfield meets Rodney Dangerfield meets what the hell's the guy's name? Al Pacino. There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
And there you are, all by your lonesome, having to endure this noise. All right. We've got a thing going on over here. So this individual, Chauncey, it has not escaped his attention that he has two ladies to the left, and now he has two ladies to the right. First for now, thanks for the cheer, bud. Much appreciated.
Thank you, guys.
You guys are doing awesome. Keep the cheer coming. Here, have some nipples. A little bit of nipster action to say thank you. There you go.
Here's some nipples, yeah. I'll give you a mimic. Thank you.
I was gonna start unbuttoning my shirt. I thought that was the
Okay.
okay.
So Chauncey is very pleased with himself. He's got on one side he has Mina and Adara. On the other side he has Virginia and Yvette. So being very sure of himself and very conscious, after all, it's New Year's Eve, anything can happen, even for an aging bald fellow with a monocle. He says, it's New Year's Eve, my dear, as he turns around and speaks directly to Yvette. He says, would you and your friend care to, I notice you've got a glass of champagne. trust me when I tell you that this cheap California-made sparkling imitation is nothing compared to what the true grapes of France can produce. If you would like to indulge, Louis, would you mind getting me a bottle of Dom Perignon? Perhaps the 1902? He's like, sure, hey, if you've got the greenbacks for it. Oh, I do, my friend, I do. As he pulls out and starts dropping dollar bills on the table. He's like, 42, 43, 44, 45. And, here's a 5 for you, my friend. Oh, well, hey, very much appreciate it. Give me just a second. And with that, he goes up to the other end of the bar and brings out a bottle. He polishes the bottle first, because you notice there's a thick layer of dust on it. Holds it up, makes sure that gives it a little shake, and then brings it over and sits it down on the bar. He goes, 5 glasses, please. 5, if you don't mind. He's, okay, hands out 5 of the crystal. No, you're a fine crystalware. Proper stemware. We're going to celebrate. Nothing wrong with a little bit of a celebration before midnight, what? And with that, he puts a glass down, 2 glasses to his left, 2 glasses to his right, and invites Mina, Yvette, Virginia, and Adara to all have a glass of Dom Perignon 1902 champagne with him. How's everybody reacting to this? I can tell you that Virginia and Adara are quite happily. Adara, who is clearly, as we figured out, a slut, she is fawning all over this guy at the prospect. Virginia isn't a slut, but she's not gullible and stupid. She's going to take a bottle of top-end champagne when it's handed to her. So she's more than happy to participate. Mina, how are you reacting to this sudden burst of attention?
I'm gonna kind of at first sort of shrink as much as I possibly can to try to not get noticed, but obviously this guy's just insisting on giving everybody.
Dankus Meninkus, thank you for the cheer, buddy.
Thank you.
I guess I'm gonna kind of
nipples for you too.
Hesitantly take the glass, kind of sniff at it, and make a face.
Okay.
I do not look like I'm into this at all.
Okay, Adara kind of notices your apprehension, and when you're like sniffing at it, she reaches over and puts like 2 fingers at the base of the glass and like tries to tilt it up towards your mouth, like to encourage you to drink it.
I'll get like a sip of it on my tongue and then the rest of it just dribbles all the way down my throat.
Okay, yeah, to be honest, 1 champagne, 2 champagne, they're both fizzy, they're both bubbly, they both have a winey flavor. I doubt that you have a whole lot of difference between the two in your palate, so, you awkwardly spill some. How is Yvette? Now, this is proper French champagne. This is not California knockoff, from, it wasn't brewed by people that claim to be, like, wine brewers, but they're actually a lot shorter than they really claim to be.
Okay. I feel like it's getting a little personal here. Although I don't know many people who will claim themselves to be wine brewers, though. Just throwing that out.
Okay, you know what? I'll give you that one. You don't really brew wine, do you? No. Touche. This cat has claws. Okay, yeah. So, how does Yvette? So, yeah, the first bottle of champagne, the glass that your friend bought.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't French champagne. You can tell the difference. You're from France. You have a father who has a sophisticated palate. You've had champagne many, many times before. But you can tell by the label that this is either an incredibly good knockoff, or maybe it actually is what it's supposed to be. Thanks for the cheer, buddy. Appreciate it, ma'am. We've already shown nipples, so have some mimics. 3 mimics all around. Okay, Yvette. How are you reacting to this?
Seeing that Ginny is completely okay with this, I'm just going to take her cue with it.
Okay.
So I'm going to accept the glass, and I'm going to be like, oh, thank you very much. I did not expect someone to have such taste in this area.
Oh, well, I am from good old Blight here now. Oh, but you're from France, aren't you, my dear? I recognize the accent. Oh, what part of France?
I was raised in Paris.
Oh, yes, I have many, many fond memories of wandering the Champs-Élysées and perched underneath the Arc de Triomphe, as it were. And he immediately starts going on about these romantic days that he spent back in the late 1800s with this girl called Jeanette. And he fawns over her fondly as he's like, oh, yes. The things that Jeanette would do that the British girls would not.
She's just gonna share a look with Jeannie.
Okay.
And like kind of laugh it off, sort of. But still accept the drink, because
Yes.
it is a better
Yes.
drink.
She would, for example, eat snails. No English girl that I know would have done such a thing. No. And she truly understood what it was to endure a lovely glass of champagne such as this. And here we are on this auspicious night of all nights, enjoying a glass of Don Perignon. As he keeps looking around, it's like he's deliberately name-dropping what he's done. And I'm surrounded by beautiful ladies, wonderful company, so eloquently dressed. Yes, I'm enjoying my stay here in the United States rather a lot. I have a very splendid hotel room, just so any of you know. I have the one of the premier suites at luxury hotel. If you are here visiting and have nowhere else to stay, so you know, so throwing it out there.
Oh.
Okay. About now, another individual. You hear some scuffle at the top of the stairs. Russ Renaud, thanks for the cheer, dude. Much love. Have some mimics. Mimics all around. We have... And Dankus Mikas, thank you for the cheer as well. We have a cheer war going on. Cheer war!
Yes, more.
More of the cheers. Okay, so the guy that walks in, at the top of the stairs you hear... Hands off the merchandise! Hands off the merchandise! Ah. The fresh smell of the bookstore. And he kind of glances around. So this guy is wearing a brand new tailor-fitted suit. But the color is puke green. He's got a brand new trilby hat, but it's purple. And he's got a pair of black loafers with the little white kind of lace shield on.
Did a pimp just walk in?
Well, you would not... Typically, you would not be wrong for assuming such a thing. Russ Renaud, thank you for the cheer, dude. So... This guy walks in. He is a tall, gangly guy. He's about 6'4". And he's a fairly thick-set dude. You can tell that he's awkward in the way he walks. He's keeps doing this with his arms because the sleeves are you keep trying to flick him into position. And he's got a bit of a kind of a really overly friendly but somewhat gormless look about him. As he stumbles down the stairs with a gleeful look. And then moves over to the bar. Hey, Louie! Oh, hey, Feats, how you doing? He goes, well, it's New Year's Eve, and I don't have a whole lot to lose, so, why don't you go ahead and give me one of those bottles of fancy French champagne that you got down there? And he reaches into his pocket and pulls out, in front of everybody, a massive wad of cash. Just a huge, big, thick roll as he rolls off 2 or 3 20s and throws them on the bar. And then he turns around and leans on it and just looks as if he's bathing in the atmosphere. Okay, immediately, once again, Louis goes over and hands him a bottle. Goes to give him some of the fancy stemware, and he goes, ain't no point in giving me something as fancy as that. Just pull the cork, Louis, and hand me the bottle. Out comes the champagne. He hands it to him. And this strange, out-of-place individual takes a bottle of Dom Perignon 1902. Immediately starts to drink it. He gets hit in the face by the bubbles. It goes everywhere. Sprays all up his face, on the trilby, down his shirt. Pulls the bottle away and... oh, no! I just soaked myself. Doesn't seem to miss a beat. Several people are watching this go on. But then he leans in and says, so, Louis, what time does Doris go on? Come on now, he says. Feats, she's just playing you, buddy. You know it, man. You know how this works. I don't want to hear it, Louis. She's the love of my life. I owe everything to her. We're getting married. I mean, we're getting married in 5 days, Louis. And we're going to have the reception here. And we're going to have the biggest party that New York City's ever seen. I've come into this money, and I'm going to blow it all on her, because gosh darn it, she's the most important thing to me. And he carries on, and you notice Louis like shrugs him off and turns around and goes, oh, yes, sir, I'll be right down. And immediately Louis comes down, picks up the vodka bottle, and pours another glass into the glass of the strange individual propping up the corner of the bar. Anything to get away from the over-enthusiastic guy in the corner. Okay, now all of you ladies have heard this. At this point, he is just sitting there tapping his fingers, going with this big, stupid grin on his face. The guy is so ecstatically happy, or simple. You're not sure which. But he clearly is fully embracing the atmosphere of New Year's Eve. Alright, it's about 10 p.m. by now. Okay, so we've got 4 ladies at the front of the bar that are enjoying incredibly expensive French champagne bought by some lecherous Englishman. We have Norman No Mates, who's sitting up at the front of the establishment all by himself on this massive big dining table. And a creepy dude propping up the corner of the bar. Okay, by now there is a gambling table that's now kind of kicked up, and a couple of people have now moved from their tables over to the roulette reel. And have started gambling a little bit. Okay. Anybody else want to get up to any antics? Want to venture into the room or instigate anything?
So as time goes on, can I see my waiter kind of giving
So
me the
you're on your
eye?
third mint doolip now, and the last
Yeah.
one he was like,
Okay. All right. You know what? Actually, I think I may see them right over here, and I'm gonna get up from the table and start walking over to the bar.
okay.
I would like to, having seen the big ordeal about this man being so in love,
Right.
I'm gonna walk over to him and I would like to toast with him to his love,
Okay.
just in the spirit of the night.
All right. So this gangly-looking 6'4" individual. So you walk up now. Are you taking your champagne glass?
I will
with
take
you?
my
Paladin,
drink.
Thanks for cheer, bud. Much love. Y'all keep it coming. We are on a cheer. This is a cheerocracy going on tonight.
It's crazy.
Cheerocracy. Macha. There you go. Okay. All right, so you walk over to him. As soon as you arrive, he's like, takes his hat off. Oh, evening, miss.
Hello, I could not help but overhear that you are getting married soon.
Oh, yes, that's right, miss. I'm marrying Doris Fontaine. She's gonna be right up there on that stage here in, well, no more than an hour, I guess. But she's the love of my life. In 5 days' time, we're gonna get hitched.
Well, here, let's have a toast to the love of your life and to a long and happy life together.
Okay, so did you bring your own glass of
My
champagne?
own glass. Mhm.
Okay.
I have my own full glass. I'm just gonna like.
So he doesn't.
Toast him.
Seeing that you have a full glass, he doesn't offer you the business end of his bottle. Instead he's like, absolutely to love and long life. This time he's like sipping from it much more gingerly, almost like he's scared of the bottle. Now, as you are walking up to the bar, Mr. Buford, again, this guy's 6'4". He stands out like a sore thumb. You can't help but notice your future appointment, who came and saw you about a week ago, scheduled appointment for January the 2nd, to meet with you to discuss certain arrangements in regards to a last will and testament transfer. He is now wearing an incredibly dapper suit and hat and shoes, way beyond his normal station. Clearly he doesn't understand fashion like you do, because he's picked the gaudiest set of colors and it just doesn't. This ensemble just doesn't work. But yeah, as you're approaching the bar, you can see he's there, and he is chatting with this very well but conservatively dressed young lady.
Okay. I don't really want to get into that right now, to be honest. So I'm going to look. Spook, where did your character walk off to? Is she still up at the bar? So she is. Okay.
Yeah,
So-
I'm plastered to Adora's back over here.
But I'm going to... So as I walk up, I really am looking for the quietest people I can try to find at the bar.
Oh, I took a notepad out of my bag when I started hearing all this, listening in on him saying that she's just playing you and all this stuff, and I'm scribbling furiously.
Okay, but you're not talking a lot is what I'm
Oh,
saying.
no, I'm not talking at all.
Perfect.
Yeah, so
Perfect.
Mina is... if you're looking for somebody quiet and awkward, it's obvious that Mina is like got this awkward beacon that's just going...
Okay.
like
And
sonar.
then I
She
would also...
clearly does not belong here in any way, shape, or form.
I would also see Mordred's character up in the corner, right? Just by himself.
Yeah, Mordred is just paying attention. He's just looking
Yeah,
around, drinking,
He
sipping,
is a
not drinking
weird-looking
heavily.
dude. I mean...
That's
But yes, I'm being completely quiet and equally awkward and antisocial.
perfect. Okay, so since you're alone, I am just going to walk up to you. and just kind of, good evening, sir. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year to you too. I'm gonna kill you with that voice every time.
So good. I forget it's coming and then it hits me. Well, I couldn't help but notice that you were sitting here up at the bar all by yourself. I couldn't help but think to myself, maybe you would be a bit more comfortable sitting at the nice table up front there with me.
You want me at the front table?
Absolutely, I do. You were the first person I saw, and I thought, this gentleman may like to sit more and enjoy the finer things of life instead of bellying up here at the corner of the bar. What do you say?
What's your name?
Oh, well, my name is Buford, but my friends call me Blue, and since we'll be table mates at this point, I believe you can go ahead and call me Blue. And I'll put my hand out.
So I'm going to take your hand, shake it kind of with a hard shake, not like...
I figured you would. I was going to say, that's quite a handshake you got there, sir.
My name is Mordred Dowd.
Well, it was a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Mordred. We'll be sitting at the table, if you look, right over there, right in front. Go ahead and take any seat you like.
In front of everybody.
In front of everyone. You'll be the center of attention.
Well, that's usually not what I go for when I come and drink my drink. To be the center of things.
Well, it does work in your favor that it is New Year's Eve. People aren't really going to be paying too much attention to you. They're more self-absorbed at this moment.
So I'm gonna square my shoulders, kind of brush my chest to my coat back, and be like, fine. And I'm gonna take my top hat, push it down on my head a little bit harder, and without just like kind of brush past you, like.
Yep. I'm just trying to fill table seats at this point, so I'm going for people who I think will annoy me the least is what I'm really looking for.
Anyone that's more likely to sit there and not say a damn
just
thing.
sit there and shut up and look like we have a full table. That's all I'm looking for.
So see, I'm gonna sit down, take out another cigarette, light it, start smoking with my drink, and start just quietly sitting there, drinking and smoking.
Okay. All right.
And then I would see this quiet woman here just scribbling notes. And I will kind of approach her and kind of try to get her attention as her, I'm sure, nose is buried in her notepad instead of looking up at me. Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am? Excuse me.
I'm gonna kind of look up. I'm wearing glasses that like magnify my eyes, so that you just have to see these two giant green eyes.
Oh dear! Oh my!
So you have a mate. So you have this like the type of glasses that if you stare straight at them, the eyes are just like.
Yeah, it makes my eyes look bigger than my whole head. They're just, it's like a giant bone.
I apologize
glasses. That's it.
I look shocked.
Yes, I did not mean to startle you, ma'am. I see you sitting up here at the bar, and are you a reporter, a journalist of some sort?
Oh no, I'm
Oh, okay. Well, it's I can't help but notice. Maybe it seems like being around all these loud people up here isn't quite suiting you as much as you think it does.
Oh no, I mean I don't mind. They don't pay any attention to me, and I kind
of. Well, maybe I also couldn't help but see that this stool here doesn't look like it's much too comfortable. If you take a look over there, just across the room, that giant white table, those seats are very comfortable. I was just over here to see if maybe you would like to have a seat with us over there and enjoy the rest of the night in a little bit more luxury.
You don't have to pay attention to me. It's okay.
Oh, believe me, I do not plan on doing so, ma'am. I just... If that would make you more comfortable, we don't have to exchange a single word.
And as much as they can, my eyes light up at that, and I'm just kind of like, okay, okay, that's
okay. At this point, a bald-headed, big-mustached, well-dressed, 60-ish-year-old gentleman has climbed down off his stool and walked over to you. Excuse me, sir. I don't believe I've had the pleasure of knowing your name.
I don't believe you have.
Well, I am Chauncey Marmaduke III. And your
Chauncey-
name is, sir?
Chauncey Marmaduke III, that is quite a mouthful of a name, but I do believe I have you beat. You can call me Buford Q. Tuttleman Esquire. I believe that is one more name than you have, sir. Therefore,
Esquire?
I win.
Really? Well, Tuttleman.
Mhm.
Are you from the North Virginia Tuttlemans, or are you from the Georgian Tuttlemans?
You know your geography, sir. I am quite impressed. I'm from the Georgian Tuttlemans.
Yes, well, it's a pleasure to meet your acquaintance, but as you can see, I have these lovely ladies well taken care of. I've, in fact, bought them a bottle of Dom Perignon 1902.
Yeah. Also impeccable taste as well, sir.
Oh,
Very
thank
nice.
you. So, your efforts will not be necessary this evening. In fact, this young lady, what was your name, Miss Nina? Is it Nina? Nina has agreed to come back with me to a soiree at my hotel later this evening.
Well, even though I just have known the lady for no more than 30 seconds, I do find that a bit hard to believe.
Hard to believe? Why?
Well, look at the size of her eyes and those glasses after you said that, sir. Even
Well,
blind
I'm a
man could
gentleman. I
tell.
look past such physical imperfections.
No, I more meant the surprise behind those eyes, not so much the physicality of them.
Oh, well, come now, Nina, my dear. You wouldn't possibly want to loiter around with such a, lower-tainted bloodline of southern gentlemen.
You're from the South?
Can you not tell by the way my mouth pulls molasses out of it as the words just seep out?
Georgia, that's near Louisiana.
That's very good, dear. Yes, that is.
They have
correct.
swamps there, you know.
They have
And
voodoo
20-foot
there.
alligators.
Have you met any of the voodoo?
I've met quite. Are you speaking of the witch doctors?
You have? You know?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to tell you more about them if you'd just like to join us over here at our table.
So,
It's the
like,
same one I pointed out.
completely uncharacteristic of me, I am jetting over to this table.
Nina, my dear. No, oh.
Chauncey, it was a pleasure meeting you, sir. I hope you do
Well-
have a wonderful New Year's Eve.
Touche to you, sir. You appear to have won this round, but we will have other chances to spar with ladies.
And I do look forward to them, Mr. Chauncey.
Yes, well, I will wear one of my nicer suits next time. And we'll see.
We will indeed. I do look forward to the sparring match of wits and words, sir.
I don't know about wits, but words indeed.
Yes. You've outdone me again, Chauncey. Congratulations.
All right. With that, you notice that Adara Abelman has also picked up her drink and turned as if she's coming as well. Seeing this situation, Chauncey, in utter despair, goes, "Oh, come down. Come now, Adara, my dear. You'd much rather stay with me. After all, I'm..." And he slid a $50 bill onto the table, like right in front of her. He's, "I'm much more well endowed."
Oh, Mr. Chauncey.
Being the slut that she is, she looks at her friend, who has been whisked off by the southern gentleman to the prime table, glances at the $50, and she's like, "You will take care of my friend, won't you, Mr. Buford?"
Oh, absolutely. Of course. She'll be no harm whatsoever. You can pick her up just like she is now whenever you are ready.
Well, have a wonderful evening. Now, Chauncey, tell me more about Tower Bridge. As she leans back in to talk to the incredibly overly flamboyant with his cash English gentleman. Okay.
So when Mina comes to the table,
yeah, that's what I was about to say.
look up.
So how do you react to this strange mousy girl coming?
So when Mina sits down, I basically reach into my jacket, take out a full pack of cigarettes, and flicks it across the table. So it slides and ends in front of her seat. And I say, "Smoke if you got them." I have a toothy little grin and go back to drinking and smoking. I'll say anything else.
Mina is now sitting with the most gruesome individual that is in this establishment by far. We have the most awkward, timid individual, and the most "what the is that dude doing here?" individual at one table. Okay.
Yeah, a full pack of cigarettes. Smoke if you got them.
I'm just sitting there holding my oddly shaped handbag like as close to my chest as I can get.
Okay. So over here, we have Feats and Yvette. So, yeah. So you've toasted true love, with Feat. And,
Yes, I would turn back. That's all I would want to do with him. I would just want to toast, having heard that he was in love and getting married.
Okay.
And
Right,
so I would
well,
turn back because I'm here for my friend. I'm not here for anything else.
He doesn't seem to care because he's in love. You're not going
right.
to win him over.
I
You're
wasn't
not
trying
gonna woo
to.
this strange hunk of a man. Okay. So as you wander back towards the bar, as a well-dressed gentleman takes a step back, this guy's Buford!
Oh,
Buford! Hey, Buford! Okay, with that, Feats kind of pushes his way through the crowd and makes a beeline straight towards Buford. Immediately, he grabs hold of your hand with an overly enthusiastic handshake and virtually, wrenches your arm up. It's good to see you, Buford. It's good to see you.
Yes, Mr. Smalley, it is always a pleasure to see a client of mine.
Well, we've got business to discuss, but it's going to be a little bit different, I'm afraid, than what we originally had planned for the second.
Whatever do you mean?
Okay, with that, he kind of goes, showing off his outfit. He goes, well, as you know, I was coming to talk to you about discussing my last will and testament. Ninja JB, thanks for the resub. 55 months of love. Take your pants off. Hit the height, buddy.
55. That's a lot. Thanks,
55. It's almost like 64. Or 6'4".
Thanks, Ninja.
So
okay, that was a stretch. Just like, oh, you're a stretch, right? Is that what was coming next? Is that what was coming next?
no, but I wouldn't have thought of that. But I'll play off it as soon as you did. That's pretty cool. Okay, yeah. He looks at you and he's like, "Well, my fortunes have changed just a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, things got kind of dicey for." And he walks right over to you now, and he has lumbered a large. How tall are you?
I'm only about 5'8".
Okay, so this dude is just, boom, and he's dropped his arm down on your shoulder, like your old buddies, and he pulls you in uncomfortably close. He says, "Well, as you know, things were a-dwindling because I spent everything I had keeping Doris happy. Mm-hmm. And, well, between you and me, I was down to my last shilling. And things got a little bit heated there, and I almost lost Doris's interest. Well, quite frankly, she called the wedding off and told me to sling the old proverbial hook. But, well, gosh darn it, if earlier on this evening I didn't come into some great fortune." And he pulls out this massive wad of cash. So, we need to discuss some things. But the difference is, I'm not going to be around very long, so I need to make sure that all the provisions are made to take care of my Doris.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure we can work everything out of the finer details. But what do you mean? where did you come up with all that money, Mr. Smalley? Last we spoke, you didn't have much more than a few dimes in your name.
I probably shouldn't say. He kind of mentioned that he kind of like to keep things on the lowdown, don't you know?
Well, Mr. Smalley, we do, of course, have confidentiality between the two of us. And now, if I'm going to do my job correctly, I'm going to need every little bit of information you're able to give.
All right. Let's see here. Are we fast talking or are we?
Oh, I guess maybe, but
persuading?
yeah. That's a good question, because kind of both. I mean, and I'm not really lying, like
I'm gonna let you
like
choose.
I do need to know.
I'm gonna let you choose. Are you trying to persuade him legitimately, or are you just kind of prying? At the end of the day, it's your decision, so you can choose what skill you want to use.
I mean, they're both the same. It'd probably be more persuading, because I wouldn't. I think fast talking has more of a devious kind of connotation.
It does.
to
Well,
it.
and I didn't know whether you were asking for devious reasons or if you're legitimately interested in your client's well-being. So,
No, I'd still want to do my job.
all right.
So
All right, give me a persuade roll.
Persuasion. Okay.
Oh yeah, toasted it. All right, go ahead and check the box.
Got it.
He says, "Well, I don't know if you are familiar with him or not, but I made a deal with Doc Jenkins. See, everybody's always talking. Everybody calls me feats. I mean, it's not everybody that has size 18 feet and is 6'4".
That's very true.
So Doc Jenkins made me a deal and said that, well, he gave me this $3,000 in exchange that he could have my feet for scientific purposes and scientific reasons shouldn't I die."
You do mean he can have your feet upon your demise? Is
Yeah,
that
but
correct?
that was the thing. Doc Jenkins said that he needed those feet real shortly, and well, I kind of agreed that being love drunk and all, and just wanting to take care of my Doris, I kind of signed a legal document that said he would have those in no less than 7 days.
Do you by any chance happen to have this legal document on your person?
No, I signed it, and he said he was going to put it away for safekeeping, but you know me, I'm not a welcher. I've never been welching on a deal, so the way I see it, I got 7 days to treat my Doris as best I can, and after that, well, whatever's left goes to Doris, and other than a pine box and a right honorable funeral, that's all I'm going to ask for, and I need you to take care of all the legalities.
Well, of course, I will do my job to the best of my ability. But, Mrs. Smalley, I know we don't know each other too well. But is this really what you want to do?
Well, I don't know that it really comes down to what I want to do, but I signed a legally binding document, and as I said, I'm no welcher, so in 7 days, Doc's getting my feet one way or another.
Well, what about
I took
on
the money.
Of course. How much of that amount have you spent?
Well, not much at all. I mean, I bought these dapper threads, and I bought myself a nice bottle of champagne, but shoot, I've only spent maybe a couple of $100. The rest is all for my Doris.
So
She'll be on here on stage in about 30 minutes.
Sure. Theoretically, Mr. Smalley, on the 6th day at 11:59 p.m., what if you change your mind?
Well, if I change my mind, I don't rightly know that that's legal and all. Wouldn't that be considered welching?
Well, I'm not talking about whether things are legal or not. I'm theoretically asking, what if you as a human being change your mind of something of this magnitude?
Well, I suppose that Doc Jenkins wouldn't take too kindly to that.
No, I don't
And,
believe you would.
I mean, the agreement was I'd show up at his surgery, bright and early that morning, no later than 9 a.m., and we'd take care of things.
So what would happen to you after he took your feet? Are you to be disposed of, or are you just to be sent on your way?
Well, I don't think I could be going on anybody's way with no feet.
Well, I mean, what I mean is he going? Are you ending your life with this agreement?
Well, I mean,
Because feet are not a vital organ as far as I'm concerned.
no,
Mr.
I mean,
Smart.
my size 16s are what got me this $3,000, but truth
Sure.
be told, in the small print it did say that I also legally do declare that my vital organs are his to do with as they wishes as well, so I do believe that without my lungs, heart, kidney, spleen, it may be tough to do any living.
Yeah. Now, as you know, I'm a lawyer, not a doctor, but I do believe that is correct, Mrs. Smart. I at least have a grasp on that. So your life is forfeit in 6-7 days. Then is that what you're telling me?
Well,
Over your feet.
I'm afraid so. But I mean, hell, Buford, look at me. I'm nobody. I've never had anybody so beautiful as Miss Doris pay me any attention in my entire life. And if I can at least spend the next 6 or 7 days with her, making her happy, well, I don't have high hopes. I know I'm never going to amount to much. I'm nothing more than a lazy, no-good, layabout laborer that's never going to amount to nothing. At least this way I can do some good. I can leave her in a well-set-up situation, and I can enjoy myself for the next 6 or 7 days. I'm going to put more living in these next 6 or 7 days than I could have ever done in the next 60 or 70 years with this sort of money.
Mrs. Smollett, please refresh my memory if you wouldn't mind. How old are you again?
Well, gee, in November I just enjoyed my 32nd birthday.
Okay, so you're no spring chicken then, Mrs. Smollett. Okay. That changes things a little bit. I mean, you are, I believe, of sound mind.
Well, I don't have a whole lot of smarts upstairs, but
Yeah?
I think the ones that I do have at least function to some degree. And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I went into this agreement knowing full well what I was signing. I understood it. But I love my Doris, and quite honestly, she was going to leave me. I didn't have any money. Well, the way I see it is I've got all the money I need, and I can have my Doris for the rest of my life.
I guess technically that will be correct. Well, I think I'm not going to try to I am not your father. I'm not a parent of yours, Miss Smaller. I believe that you can make whatever decision you see fit for you and your loved. I don't want to take up too much more of your time.
No.
Would you still like to meet in 2 days hence from today?
Well, I would, but I'm going to be honest, Mr. Buford. I came here to see my Doris, but I don't know anybody here. I don't fit in. So how's about that? Here, I've got a great idea.
Uh-huh.
He takes $300 and stuffs it in your shirt. I know that you charge $20 an hour, is that right? So
Yeah.
consider this that I've purchased your services for this evening, and all I'm asking is for you to pretend to be my friend.
Oh, Miss Smalley. My poor Georgian heart just broke in a million pieces.
And if I could enjoy your company and we could sit and listen to Doris Fontaine's melodious voice for this evening, I have the love of my life singing to me, and, well, let's be honest, the surest of pals I'm ever going to find next to me, I would consider that a blessing.
Mrs. Smollett, I would be honored to have you in our company this evening.
Well, that's nice. That's real nice. And he pats you on the back. That's a real nice surprise. I'm so happy that you're willing to accept my friendship.
Absolutely. Now, sitting at our table, which is right over there with those two unassuming, well, one unassuming person, the other one a gargantuan giant, apparently. They don't really like too much of the talk. So if you don't want them to exit you from our table prematurely, you might want to keep your jibber jabber down to a minimum.
Mr. Buford, whatever you say, I'll be the epitome of silence.
I do want you to enjoy your
I'll
last
be like
few
a
days.
whisper in a church aisle.
Okay, I can understand.
I will
that.
be like the leaves flowing through the aisles of a library.
Absolutely. Do you maybe have one more in the chamber, maybe? Just want to fire it off now before you get over there and stop bothering those nice people.
I won't say shit.
Now, Mr. Smalley, you're speaking my language. If you would like to go ahead and see your way over there, I do think I might have to procure one more person to fill out our table so that we do not get thrown out of this bar.
And just tell Louis that all the drinks for our table are on me. To tell him they're all on old feet.
Absolutely, I will let him know. Thank you. And I will walk up. Say, Mr. Louis.
Yes, sir.
My friend Feats over there is going to be buying drinks for our table for the rest of the evening. So just make sure they go on his tab. Is that clear?
Sure. Everybody else takes advantage of feet. I don't know why y'all would be any different.
Well, that's uncalled for, sir. You do not know the situation going on with him, I don't believe.
I do apologize. I do. No problem. I'll put it all on Feet's tab.
You know what? I'm gonna take $20 out of my pocket that he gave me and put it on the table.
Okay.
And say, use this first. We won't try to be too crazy. I can understand where it would seem like we might be taking advantage of the man, but I promise you that there was no mischievousness abound here whatsoever.
No, I'm sure not. You just gotta understand, Feet's been a hard lucker his entire life. Mama up and died on him when he was 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Father was a drunk. Mm-hmm. Left him high and dry at 8. Feets grew up on the street for the next 4 or 5 years. Never had a friend to his name. Of course, he always had a light shining for Doris Fontaine. Well, finally, whenever his inheritance came through, he took the meager money that he had and used it to woo Doris. And you know how these women are, these loose entertainment types. She took him for every penny she could. And in 6 months, she bankrupt poor old Feet.
A tale as old as time.
He never had any interest in him, only his pocket. But look at Feet, dumb son of a bitch. You're never going to get that through his thick head, so... Anyway.
He seems to be happy, so we're going to give him... It is New Year's Eve after all. I believe splurging is the name of the game when it comes to these sorts of events.
And and he stubs out his cigarette and flicks it. It is New Year's Eve. Stranger things have happened on New Year's Eve. Miracles sometimes occur. And he kind of looks at you with this strange, all-knowing bartender's eyes. Says, sometimes you want to ask yourself why you're at a place at a certain time on a certain day. On a certain year. I mean, me, I just serve the drinks. But all of you swells, you're here by choice. What brought you here tonight?
Could be the hand of serendipity itself. Who is to know? So that is the great mystery question of life.
Precisely. Well, just remember, God's watching down on you. And he's decided that you're the custodian of poor old Feet Smalley.
Yes, I do deal with many clientele along his line. It is not something I am not used to.
Are you a religious man, Mr. Buford?
Well, I try to get to church every once in a while whenever I can. I should go more often, I admit, but...
Because I sure wouldn't want to abuse God's trust. He put somebody in my charge. If I abuse God's trust, well, I certainly wouldn't want to invoke the wrath of God.
Now, I myself, sir, am a litigator, and that sounds awfully like an accusation. I know an accusation when I hear.
I'm just merely saying that if you're a man of God and God has put feet Smalley in your path to look out for him on this fine, New Year's Eve night, I wouldn't want to abuse that trust.
Well, I have invited him over to our private table. I do believe that is a show of good faith.
Oh, so you have. Well, then perhaps you are taking your charge most seriously. And for that, I commend you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Bartender. I appreciate that.
Here. This mint julep is on me.
Oh.
And he hands it to you. He says, do me a favor. Don't throw away the mint leaves.
May I ask why, just out of curiosity's sake?
Something tells me that something about those mint juleps that you like to drink so much. I know normally after we've crushed the mint leaves up in the bottom of the glass, people tend to leave the residue. Why don't you wait for the ice to melt and stare down into those mint leaves and see if you can see some kind of, revelation.
What
Miss-
the?
Mr. Bartender, I will do just that. Thank you for the existential high conversation we have just had on this New Year's Eve. I will remember it for as long as I live.
And if I don't get to say it to you before the bell and before the ball, you have yourself a happy new year there, Mr. Buford.
You too, sir. You too. And I'll take another $1 out and put it on the bar table for
Right.
Freaking Louis Trelawney going on
He
over there.
nods and takes it from you.
Dude, I think you just met Jesus or something.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, that old bit where he's a homeless person, and you help him, and he's like,
Right.
"You passed my test, and you're, saved." I guess.
Right. Okay. So while you've been having a chat with the bartender, before we return to the awkward table of awkwardness, let's go back to Yvette. So what is Yvette doing during all this time?
She would just be catching up with Jeannie, but also probably looking for the exit once the drink is done.
Okay.
Like, for both of them.
All right.
She's not leaving her, but...
Yeah, so you just want to get away from Chauncey.
Yeah, it's about time we sit down at our own... Like, there's not a stool. We should go sit
Right.
down at our own table and
Okay.
catch up together.
All right. So, yeah, she doesn't seem she is right now she's enjoying a free ride from a wealthy Englishman. What do you want to do to try to convince her that it's not in her best interest to hang around this old fart and to get away from him? I mean, when you suggest it to her, she looks at you and she says, "Why spend her own money? This kind English gentleman is more than happy to pay for all of our drinks all night. We don't know him anything. We can just sit up here and enjoy the bar and enjoy the music and let him take care of the tab."
Yes, but it's been so long since we've seen each other, and I just wanted to sit down and catch up with just us. There's an empty table over here.
Okay, give me a persuade roll.
Ooh.
I'll give you
Not
a
good, guys. It's
I'm
not
going to
good.
give you a plus 10 just because you do have the
Wow.
Oh, you pulled it off.
Ooh.
All right, go ahead and check your persuade skill.
Nice.
Wow.
Okay, she looks at her drink. She looks at Chauncey's top pocket, which is where the money keeps coming from. And she says, "Well, you're right. I invited you here to catch up. I suppose getting free drinks isn't as important as, reminiscing on old times. And besides, he seems to have got his hooks into that Adara girl. So, well, I suppose we can find ourselves a table and sit down."
That sounds wonderful.
All right. Okay. So she gets up. She looks like she's going to tap him on the shoulder to let him know politely that she's leaving, and then realizes that Adara Abelman has got him wrapped around her little fingers. So she's like, whatever. Okay. Where do you want to sit?
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to move me. I think this empty table back here.
Okay.
I don't think I want to sit with anyone because I don't know anybody here except her.
All right.
So I think we are going to move to this table.
This table. Okay.
I'm gonna get stuck in it eventually.
All right. Yep.
This is gonna be bad.
All right. Well, by now it is almost 11 p.m. A gentleman steps out on stage and announces, "Ladies and gentlemen, y'all can just avert your attentions to front center stage here. It is rare that I have the privilege, nay the honor, to introduce somebody as lovely as the angel that is about to grace this stage before us." And you start hearing people wolf whistle and scream and yell. It says, "It is indeed my privilege to introduce a rare talent. You are having the opportunity here tonight of witnessing her in her infancy as she climbs the star-studded stage to famedom." Right, at this point, you've noticed, while this is all going on, you're kind of stuck over there at the bar still, Buford. What do you want to do?
You did it.
Yeah, thank you. With the show starting, I would probably honestly walk back to the table.
Okay. All right, so you're going to head back to your table?
Yep.
Gore, is the person talking the gnome that's standing on the stage?
No, here, let me grab you a person.
Oh, so is that just a decoration? It's supposed to be Santa Claus?
Yeah, no, that's literally exactly what it is.
Oh, okay.
There's a Santa Claus and a snowman decoration up there. Okay, he's so you've got to sit down. As at this point, most people now have moved to find tables to sit down. All except for these two that are still propping up the bar. Okay. He says, "Ladies and gentlemen, patrons of the bookstore Speakeasy, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you the star of this evening's entertainment, Miss Doris Fontaine!" And immediately applause erupts from everybody as they all start cheering and clapping as this woman comes out through the giant curtain. She's wearing a huge, big, belled dress with, let's just say, you couldn't have pushed any higher to get her bosom up to here. With whatever she is wearing, whatever strange contraption is being used to get to that point. Let me see here. All right, so yeah, as she steps out, immediately she comes through the stage, raises her left hand, instantly. Everybody just erupts, and good old Feet Smalley is standing up, giving her a standing ovation with this goofy look on his face. Okay, immediately the music starts up. Pick a. Let me see. I'll go with this. We need some tunes. Here you go. Okay. As she steps out and starts to entertain and sing to the crowd, everybody's just swaying backwards and forwards and listening to her melodious voice. She does indeed have an incredible voice. And Feet Smalley the entire time is... If it was a cartoon, his eyes would be like heart-shaped and flowing out there. As you're sitting there, he looks over at Buford and says, Buford, when this song finishes, wish me luck.
Oh, Miss Smalley, what are you playing on?
And he reaches over and grabs a drink and downs it. Well, I told you, she told me the wedding was off, but she doesn't know what I've just come into. I'm gonna go up on that stage and I'm gonna propose to her in front of the whole crowd. Let her know how much I truly feel. She'll know my truest heart is hers.
Do you really think that should be done in front of a spectacle of all these people on this night?
Well, of course, why not? I mean,
don't you think that would maybe
to make a declaration here in front of all these fine folk? She'll know my intentions are honest and pure.
Don't you think that maybe put an undue amount of extra pressure on top of it? To maybe not that I'm saying she's gonna say no, but don't you think that might push her more to say no?
Oh, don't say that, Buford. She can't say no. She can't.
Well, she can.
I mean, she said yes once before, and once before I had a fraction of the wealth that I have now.
Mrs. Smalley, I wish you the best of luck, son. I'll hold my drink up to cheers him.
Yeah, get married.
Yes.
I'll hold up my drink to the cigarette dangling. I'm taking a drink with the cigarette still in the side of my mouth.
We are behind you 100%.
Okay. At this point, he gets up and starts going table to table. Here, he's throwing basically $5 bills on every table. Your next drinks are on me. Y'all wish me luck. I'm fixing to ask the woman of my dreams to marry me a second time. And he's going from table to table as he does so. Finally, he comes over to Yvette's table and her friend Virginia, and he throws $5 down and... I apologize. We didn't have time to get properly acquainted, miss, but I just want you to know that lady up there, that's my gal. That's the love of my life. That's my Doris. And when she finishes this song, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to confess my undying love to her and ask her to marry me. And I just want all of y'all to enjoy in my moment, as you said there, miss, to true love and happiness.
Yes, to true love and happiness. She is very beautiful.
Miss, I know she's all I've thought about for these last 5 years. When I was working down there on the docks, just humping crates, I heard her voice just cascade out across the docks one day, and I was drawn to it. And I saw her sitting there on the dock of the bay watching the tide roll away. And I thought to myself, that's the girl I'm going to marry one day. And, well, here we are. I'd asked her to marry me once before, and she said yes, but then, gosh darn it, I fell on hard times, and no girl should ever be expected to marry a pauper. But now I've got the means to take care of her, at least as long as I'm here, and my short life being that it is not very long, but at least I know that my Doris is going to be well taken care of. So y'all be sure to toast us when we make our announcement of our engagement. And you're welcome to come to the party too, because it's going to be right here. And it's going to be the biggest party New York's darn ever seen.
Thank you so much. This is a very romantic story. You are very lucky that she loves you back.
Well, gosh, miss, I hope she does. Otherwise, I'm going to feel mighty foolish.
So while that's happening, I'm gonna lean across the table to Buford. I'm just gonna say, friend of yours.
Well, more of a yeah, I guess at this point he is a friend of mine.
Is he in the head?
No.
That's not a very nice thing.
She's right. Glasses is right. That's not a very nice thing.
Glasses.
I'm sorry. I just realized I don't think I asked you your name, ma'am. Did I?
That's okay. You don't have to call me.
What would you rather me call you by then?
You don't have to talk to me at all. It's okay.
Well, I said I promised I would keep it to a minimum, but in case I do have to speak to you, what would you like me to call you, miss?
Mina's okay. My name is...
Mina? Mina, it's a pleasure to make your official acquaintance now.
Oh, like...
Yeah, I am Mordred if you need to call me by something.
Yeah, Mordred, you actually already did tell me your name.
Mordred.
I was talking to Mina.
Oh, of course. I do apologize. I thought you were still speaking in my direction.
It's okay.
But
it's nice to meet you.
Mordred, but to answer your question, no, I do not believe he is slow. I just do believe he is love-struck, and that can make a man slow, no matter what his faculties may be.
So you're gonna let him entertain us?
Well, I did try to speak him out of it. Obviously not to the best of my abilities, but he is a grown man. He will do what he wants. I did voice my reservations and hesitations, but he blew right past them with that love beating in his heart. There's nothing you can do to stop that train once it starts to roll, my friend.
Well, I mean, even if she says no, he still has money, apparently, and you really don't need other people to be happy.
Oh, this is the saddest group of people. Mina, you are correct about that. If you are truly okay with being just by yourself, there is a bit of a happiness in that. I do agree with you, but I don't think Mr. Smalley will come to that conclusion if it does not go the way he wants it to go.
What does that mean?
Well, I do believe he thinks he's going to get up there and make this grand gesture to the woman he loves more than anything in the world. And if she turns him down, I don't think he will see it as he will find happiness in being alone.
Oh.
At this point, she takes her bow, and everybody applauds and claps as she comes to the end of her song.
So how about we buy a whole lot of booze? So when he's distraught, we just get him fried drunk, you know?
Well, I do believe that's a pretty good plan, Mr. Mordred. Very well thought out.
All right. So with that being said, Pete Smalley has made his way up onto the stage, and he's, with his hat in hand, approaches the love of his life, who turns to look at him with a scowl on her face. And she's like, Feats, what are you doing up here? You're making a scene. He says, Now, Doris, I know you rejected me before. We were due to be locked in wedlock, but I know I let you down. I fell on hard times, and somehow the money that I had disappeared before my very eyes in 6 months. I'm sure that the pearl necklaces, the fine dresses, the fancy dining and everything. Wasn't the cause. I'm sure it was the misspendings of my monies on breakfast and the odd drink here and there. But I found a way to rekindle our love. Look here. And he pulls out the wad of cash. He says, I have come into this small fortune, Miss Doris, and I believe that I can make you a happy man and give you the life that you so deserve and that you are accustomed to if you would once again agree to be my good wife. Here on the 2nd or the 3rd of January, we could be remarried and spend the rest of our lives together as long as we both shall live. As she kind of looks at everybody, as the whole audience is like, ah, and they all fawn. Awkwardly, she says, well, Feats, you know I always loved you. I couldn't stay mad at you for another second. Of course I accept. I will be your wife. And he's like, oh, Miss Doris, you've made me the happiest man on earth. And everyone stands up and like, wah! They all start cheering and clapping. Probably everybody in the entire establishment except the barkeep, as Louis is like, shaking his head in dismay. He turns around and says, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to the new future Mrs. Smalley. Champagne for everyone! And once again, they all start cheering and screaming and yay! And he takes her by the hand and they make their way down off of the stage to your table. Miss, my dear, let me introduce you to my dearest friend in the whole wide world. This is Mr. Buford. He will officiate over all the legalities to make sure that should anything happen to me in an untimely fashion, all of my wealth becomes yours. Isn't that right, Mr. Buford? You're going to take care of all these legal things for us.
And it just hit me that I just put this together. I don't think she knows what's going to happen to him and how he came into this money. And I after hearing him say that, I'm going to say, first of all, to the future Mrs. Smalley, I do give my congratulations to you.
Well, thank you. It is nice to be congratulated by a fellow Southerner.
Oh, where were you from in the South, ma'am?
Well, I was born and raised in the deepest parts of Georgia.
Well, you're speaking to a fellow Georgian right here.
I grew up in a little old town just outside of Atlanta.
What town would that be?
It would be all right, give me a let's see. That is going to be... where is it? Still trying to remember all the skills. It's been a little while.
Yeah. I'm trying to see when that would...
Give me a psychology skill roll.
Oh, psychology. Okay. Yikes.
You got it, man.
I have to get a 4 or lower.
Ooh.
You're going to do it.
4 in psychology?
No, you're not.
Okay.
That was never going to... I have a 5 in psychology.
She says, that would be Chesterton Fieldville.
Oh, I don't think I've heard of that town before. Do I really have to play dumb like I think she's being serious? There's no way I believe her. It
may not be that you can choose not to believe her.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. Oh, well, must be quite a small town, as I have never heard of.
Oh, it's a
of
little
that
old
sort.
town, has less than a population of 300.
Well, that is quite small. Well, again, from one Georgian to another, I wish you congratulations. And
Oh, you're also from Georgia. Whereabouts in Georgia are you from?
I know. Hold on, let me
Oh,
recollect.
she wants to make a psychology roll.
A memory check.
Yeah, well, I
Because she
forget what
thinks
I
you're full of
said.
shit too now.
Oh, but I really am. I'm sorry, my accent isn't the best. It's, I'm still trying to figure it out myself, man.
Two fake
Oh,
Georgians.
yes, I do. I'm from. Did I say Savannah or Augusta? I can't quite remember, Mr. DM. If you could please help me out with that information, I would be much obliged.
The maitre d' walks by and goes, Savannah.
Oh yes, that's what I figured. I just couldn't quite remember. I'm sorry. I believe this is my 5th mint julep of the evening. The bartender gave me one for free. I am a bit inebriated, if I am to be honest.
All right.
I'm from. Yes, you'd like to speak, Mordred, please. Help.
You're both from the South. I'm from Albany myself originally. You two don't sound the same. How does that work? Do Georgians have different accents?
Well, it's like any other place. If sometimes even from the same state, you can have a different sort of sound to your voice.
Well, I mean, I declare, let me explain. Little old me, I told you, that's where I come from, but that was not where I was born and raised.
Can I tell if this woman is full of it?
You by all means can make a psychology roll if you wish.
She did say, I do declare, that is a Georgia thing. She's clearly from Georgia. She's telling the truth. Yes.
Oh, mine's just as bad as yours. So.
That's so bad. I'm not a...
Psychology is a thing. Yeah, no. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you're winging it.
Yep.
There's no telltale. There's nothing that she's doing that kind of really gives you a
Right.
solid evidence or proof. But I mean, you're more than welcome to be suspicious.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna light up another cigarette and say, that's interesting. I didn't actually know that.
Well, I mean, does your voice sound like many others from your area as well, Mr. Mordred?
Voice sounds like he's a chain smoker. Is what sounding to me that day.
I don't know if that's a joke.
No, it is simply but a question.
No. My voice is weird, and I'm well aware of that.
Well, I wouldn't call it weird. I just was more helping you answer your own question.
But she reaches across the table and places her left hand on the top of your black leather gloved hand. And she says, well, I find your voice interesting, intriguing, and unique.
I'm just gonna awkwardly down the rest of my glass.
Yeah, I'm gonna stare at her and just blink owlishly behind my.
Well, gee, guys, it sure is swell that you're all here. All of my friends, Mr. Buford and Miss... Was it Mina or Nina? I couldn't remember.
It's me.
Me? You're called Mina or Nina? I thought you were Mr. Buford.
Oh, I thought you were asking me what her name is quietly, so you weren't rude.
So,
My apologies.
what was her name?
It's okay. Most
Okay,
people don't.
who are you asking this question to?
Well, now you're talking to him. Now he's asking
Yeah,
you.
Her name is, it's Mina.
Mina. Miss Mina, yes. I'm with my friends, Mr. Buford, Miss Mina, and... Scary guy. What? I'm sorry, sir. As long as I have known you, I do not believe I have acquiesced your name.
It's Mordred Dowd.
Mordred. well, my dear. Welcome to the table of my friends, Mr. Buford, Mr. Mordred, and Miss Mina. We are having a jolly time listening to your melodious voice, and I'm sure that they would all be happy to be guests of honor at our wedding, because they are such great friends of mine. Oh, any
look
friends of yours are
thoroughly,
friends of
like-
mine.
Weirded out by the fact that I have a friend.
Yeah, he's adopted you as friends, whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, he stands up and he says, and there she is, Miss Yvette. She's my friend too. Miss Yvette, you should come up here.
Can I
Come
say
join
that while that was
our
happening-
wedding party.
Can I have gone to the bar to get them both a drink?
Oh yeah, if you want to go to the bar, by all means.
I was gonna kind of interject when it was
Yeah,
done. I wanna
absolutely.
when he comes down, go to the bar and get 2 glasses of champagne.
Okay.
But 1 for each of them.
All right, so you're going to bring that over? Right, well, you bring the champagne over, and he's invited you to the table anyway.
I'm gonna shrink further down in my chair. Oh, more people.
Oh yeah, we got more company.
Right. I need a chair. There we go. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, I'm going to move this table temporarily. You didn't see this? Okay.
Indiana Jones theme is
It's a ghost table.
ghost.
Oh, is this Cthulhu? Is that Cthulhu? Did we do it? Did we find
the table.
Did we find him? Did we do it? I don't know how to
There you
play
go.
this game. Is that it?
Yep, so the maitre
like,
d'
where's Waldo?
quickly pulls another table in when he realizes that your party has grown by one. Another chair, sorry. So he makes room for a table, makes a chair available so that Yvette can sit down up by the bar here.
Perfect. So I'm gonna give them both their drinks first,
Okay.
and just be like, "Congratulations on your engagement. I am very happy for you." And then I will slide over to the chair for a moment.
Okay. He said, "Well, I very much appreciate that, Miss Yvette. So this is everybody. If you haven't had a chance to meet her, this is my Doris, Miss Doris Fontaine. We're to be married, and we're gonna live a happy life."
For about the next 5 days.
He says, I know that it's not possible to get married on New Year's Day, but gee, I don't want to drag it out any longer than we possibly can. What do you think the legalities are, Mr. Buford, of us getting married on the 2nd of January? Is this a achievable thing?
Well, yeah, as long as you have a ordained minister and I believe a witness of some sort, I don't think there's anything quite stopping.
I had heard that it can take several days to procure a appropriate marriage licenses. Do you have any sway with the courts that you might be able to acquire such a thing? I know that today and tomorrow there's no chance because the courts are open, but is there any way you could maybe on the morning of the 2nd go down to the courthouse and use your skills and wiles to procure us a marriage license in a matter of hours?
Mr. Smalley, I do not like to...
I have plenty of funds.
No, please put those away. You have done quite enough this evening with that. It has nothing to do with funds. It has to do with the wheels of bureaucracy and how fast or slow they move. And more often than not, they move slow, especially in a city much like this. But I will tell you what, Mr. Smalley, because you are my client, because in the spirit of the occasion of the evening, I will go down and I will do my best to try to move things along as quickly as possible to make it happen for you.
Well, that's mighty nice to hear. I mean, as you know, I don't have a whole lot of time.
Yes, of course. You want to get this done quickly. I understand. Of course. Now, just the time period before when you do get married and when you get the certificate there's no time limit. So you have as much time as you need.
Oh no! As soon as we get the certificate, we need to be married that same day.
Oh yeah, of course.
But why the rush, Feats? We've got plenty of time. No.
She's right, Miss Small. You have plenty of time.
No, Miss Doris. No, we don't. I need to be married to you as quickly as I possibly can. Most definitely within the week. The maitre d' walks over at this point with a bottle of champagne, like a magnum of champagne, and puts it down on the table. The establishment would like to offer its fondest and kindest regards and congratulations to your wedding. We are deeply excited that you're choosing to have it here with us, and this is on the house.
Oh, well, thank you.
Oh,
kindly,
gee,
sir.
that's real nice. That's mighty nice of you. And with that, he grabs the magnum of champagne and starts sloshing it into glasses. Y'all drink up, everybody. Come on. To me and my lovely Doris. Cheers!
Okay, I thoroughly believe that this lady is a witch. And that she has bewitched him, so I am glaring at her, trying to discern if there's any visible way that I can tell if she's a witch.
All right, give me an occult roll. Which is kind of a no-brainer for you. All right, right, you study her intently. Well, with these things, there's not necessarily any certainties. There are certain tests that you could do given the opportunity. But there are two things that you definitely notice. One, she has green eyes, which is very rare. And possibly a sign of witchcraft. Two,
I have green eyes.
she does have a wart right here that she carefully uses makeup to try to conceal.
This took a turn.
So, here's the thing. Neither of these things are proof of witchcraft. But you know just how sneaky witches can be. It wouldn't be the first time that a bewitching witch used trickery and skullduggery to mask her behavior. You, after all, have bought into many, many theories that could possibly mean that this is some kind of vile witchery at foot.
Probably has something to do with those crop circles in the next town over. Too.
Probably does. That's what the huge hoop dress that she's wearing. She plops down in various different places and makes the circles, right?
Does she have a broom?
Yeah, that's how she gets into the middle of the fields when she plops down and she goes over on the broom.
No, but she did turn the barman into a newt. Okay.
He obviously got better.
Clearly, yeah. So he's like, so we must make the marriage occur no later on the 2nd at best, no later than the 3rd for sure. For after that, we obviously have the other, once she is my wife, we have the other legalities to take care of to ensure that all of my worldly possessions should pass to her in the possibility of my untimely demise.
Well, as I say, Mr. Smalley, I will do my best to try to procure you a wedding license as soon as possible.
And I know you will. And of course, if there are any expedite fees, I will more than happily pay them.
I will do my best to try to get around things such as that, but if it does come up and it will help, I will ask you to possibly fund it to its completion.
Another glass of champagne for all of us, for the table. For these are joyous occasions, and we should be celebrating. He pours everybody else another full glass of champagne.
I'm gonna go to reach for my champagne and accidentally knock it over because I'm gonna realize maybe she's a siren, not a witch, because she was singing. And maybe now I've been affected.
Right, okay. Yeah, she could possibly be poisoning you with alcohol. So, to me and my lovely bride, Miss Doris Fontaine, soon to be Dallas Smalley. So, and then he looks at Doris. He says, "My Doris, I have loved you for so very long. Since the time I heard your bewitching voice wafting out across the docks, across the oceans, across the watery Samite, I heard you call to me. I was unable to resist the sound of your voice, and I came running to you, and I found you, and this entire time I knew that one day we were to be wed. And it matters not whether I should live to be 100 or but 7 short days. Should my life end on my 100th birthday or on the 6th of January 1922 at precisely 12 o'clock at noon, as I slip into the slippery slumber under the enunciating ichors of Dr. Jenkins, should I not be blessed to continue my journey with my size 16 feet attached to my legs, I will die happy knowing that you were my wife.
So while he's doing this, does he have any jewelry on? Like noticeable, like rings or necklaces or?
He has gold cufflinks, expensive gold cufflinks.
Okay.
But that's about it. He doesn't really, and a very expensive watch. But that's about all he has.
So I'm gonna listen to all this, and then I'm gonna lean forward, very interested, and be like,
You know, the Cavalry Cemetery in Queens is wonderful. I can put you in fantastic spots. Were this eventuality to happen,
I think that this would be. Should that happen? Should I meet my demise as sex? And this is January 1922. All I want is a pristine pine box and a consecrated place to be buried. And if this cemetery is such a place, then I would consider it an honor to be laid to my final rest in that place.
so I'm gonna reach across with my hands and be like,
well, I will gladly put you down peacefully.
I've heard that place is prone to hauntings. Are you sure?
He reaches over and shakes your hand very sloppily and very vigorously. At this point, Miss Doris Fontaine is somewhat disturbed. She goes, "Oh, whatever are you talking about, Feats? You're
Like
but
you don't
32
know."
years old. You're going to live a long and happy life." Oh, would that be the case, my Doris? But I'm sad to say that these means of which I have wooed you for these many years were meager, and no attentions did you find to pay me, but since I inherited my departed family's wealth and showed you the world that you deserve to be in, you showed and offered me your affections. But when I failed you and these funds disappeared, I had no choice but to find a way to rekindle our love. And I made arrangements to procure this small fortune, but alas that I will not be able to be here to enjoy it with you for a long period of time. As my friend and business acquaintance here, Mr. Buford, can contest, I unfortunately signed a legally binding document that obligated myself to certain conditions that may mean that I am not to walk this mortal coil more than another 6 days past tonight. And with that being said, I can only confess my undying love to you and let you know that when my body is no more, that all I am worth will be yours, and you will never have to worry again, another day in your life about making yourself fortunes.
You made a contract with a demon for fortune.
Demon.
Obviously, I mean, why else would he be dying?
No, you misunderstand. I signed my body over to scientific research.
Your entire body? Maybe not just the hands, you know?
It was specifically my colossal and amazing specimens of feats that he was interested in.
So not your arms. That's good to know. I'm just gonna
Are you
back.
My arms were not part of the bargain, no, but seeing as I deemed that it would not be particularly pertinent for me to continue to walk around with no feet, I also agreed to the conditions that my internal organs would also be forfeit and sold into science.
Are you sure it wasn't a demon? This is sounding like a demon.
Demon.
I don't know. I understand that some people think that Doc Jenkins can be a little bit ornery, but
Doc Jenkins? He is. I
Dr.
knew it.
Dr. Reginald Jenkins.
I knew it. I'm scribbling down and like piercing the notebook.
All right, with that, Doris has got a tear running down her cheek. She's like, "It can't be. Did you not say that your friend Mr. Buford is your business acquaintance? He is indeed the custodian of my will and my future means. He is a man of the law and understands such things beyond my comprehensions." So she reaches over and grabs hold of Buford's hand. She says, "Buford, there has to be something we can do. We have to get my beloved feet out from underneath this deal with the devil."
Well, I myself have tried to convince him, so maybe if it was coming from you, you might be able to sway him a bit more. He is afraid. Well, it sounds like we're putting all of our cards on the table. He is afraid that if he worries that if he reneges on his deal and loses the money, that you will not be properly taken care of.
Oh, you can't go back on a deal with the demon.
No,
There's no demons. They don't exist.
I have to understand.
Okay.
I'm a simple man. I have little to offer anybody, but my word is my bond, and if I don't hold myself accountable, what do I have?
Well, you have Doris.
I have my word, my honor. And I can't marry Doris knowing that I'm a no-good welcher that's going to take money from a well-intended meaning medical professional and sell him up the Swanee. A deal's a deal. I mean, I signed a contract. Swear to God I did. And unless there's some legal means that you can implement to get me clear of this deal, then I'm going to go through with it, because it's what I got to do.
Well, if let's just say, hypothetically, there is a loophole or some way for you to get out of this contract scot-free. Is that something that you would be interested in?
She's like, "Please, Feats, if it can be done." It's like, well, if it can be done in such a way that I won't be considered a welcher, I'm willing to consider anything. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to live a long and happy life with my Doris. But I can't live life knowing that I'm a no-good welcher and the sort of person that doesn't keep his word. How could she marry a man like that?
Well, you would be one that would be alive. That's a good start. But I'm sure that we could possibly find something out to where both ends can walk away feeling satisfied. That's sort of what I do for a living, and I'd be happy to represent you as a client moving forward.
Well, you all here are my closest friends, and Mr. Buford, Miss Mina, Miss Yvette, and Mordred. I would consider it a personal favor if y'all could help me out in this vile endeavor and give me the possibility of a long and future life with my Doris. And to that end, I know and understand that money isn't everything, but I have a small fortune here that will keep me and Doris for a good while, so I would more than happily share this wealth with you and give each of you $200 if you would participate in helping ensure that I don't have to meet a footless and sticky end.
Well, I do appreciate the offer, Mr. Smaller, though I am confused about how these other folks will help you out. I'm sorry I don't know them for more than just a few hours.
But they are my truest friends. They are as good of friends to me as you are, Mr. Buford. After all, Mr. Mordred has recommended a place for me and procured a place and offered to personally officiate over the well-being of my very soul.
Just your body, actually, not your soul.
And
I'm
Miss
not religious
Yvette
in any way.
understands the true love that I have for my Doris and has offered me her kindest and deepest blessings, which I do not take lightly. And my friend here, Miss Mina, she clearly is looking out for my well-being by examining all possibilities. Being that Dr. Jenkins could indeed be some kind of malicious and malignant entity tricking me into such a thing. I will leave no stone unturned where it comes to my love for my Miss Fontaine, my Doris.
Is this a common practice here? To take off people's feet?
No, I can assure you, madam, it is not.
Can someone sign away an ability to commit a murder?
Well,
Is that how this country is run?
Mademoiselle, you are exactly on the right path of what I am going to myself be using as the basis of our argument.
Welcome to America.
Piss off, you bloody immigrant. Well, so, I mean, any of you that do not wish financial recompense, I understand and I bless you for your kindness of my friendship, but as I said, I will happily contribute $200 to the expenses of your needs should you be willing to help me and my Doris out in our darkest hour.
Well, Mr. Smalley, you know that you can count me in.
Right. At which point you hear, ladies and gentlemen, it's almost time! Everybody, raise your glasses! 10, 9, 8,
Yeah.
7,
I've
6, 5, 4, 3,
Hey.
2, 1! Happy New Year! Woo! And everybody starts cheering because it's such a happy occasion. Everybody crosses hands. To old acquaintance be forgot. And the entire place erupts. Everybody's kissing everybody, shaking their hands. Everything's going down. And yet nobody else knows the sad and strange case of affairs that is occurring at the far left front side table in front of the bar of the bookstore. And that is as pretty good a place to wrap things up for tonight as we can possibly have. So there we go. We're going to finish up this evening right as the New Year's Eve toast gets presented, and you guys are all left completely what the just happened, dude.
Pretty much.